Hey, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? I know y'all probably surprised to see me. I'm actually kind of surprised myself. But I'm gonna go ahead and let it roll up. Try to get a few more. Try to get at least a few people on the live feed before we go any further. I will start saying this though. Um, if you all happen to be watching this after the fact, because again, YouTube is basically censoring my page heavily. They shadow banned me, meaning that you all who have signed up for notifications, you won't get the notifications right off. Most times you're not going to get notified at all, even though you have signed up and hit the notification button. YouTube, again, is actively going hard in the paint at censoring my page because of the topics that we talk about. Good morning, Miss Deborah. How you doing? Find us, U.S. Virgin Islands. How you doing in the Virgin Islands? What's it like down in the Virgin Islands? Because it's wild and crazy up here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, again, I apologize to you all for not being able to do these videos consistently like I used to. I had made a plea earlier this week, for my subscribers to, kind of make a little donation. But what's happening again is YouTube, they will not let me monetize my video, even though I met all the requirements. They won't even let me fill out the application to get my videos monetized. So I'm having to do everything, on outside of my house, my financial budget. And it's putting me behind, but that's neither here nor there. This is why you all don't get the notifications again when I go live. So what we're going to talk about today is what everybody is talking about. Now, I don't want to be just coming up here doing another video talking about the situation up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with the murder of an unarmed black man, George Floyd, by the Minneapolis Police Department. I mean, what can I say that you already don't know, that you already have been seeing on the television? One thing I can say is this. John F. Kennedy, I think it was John F. Kennedy, said it best. He said, those who make peaceful revolution impossible makes violent insurrection a reality. And basically what you're seeing now is those words come to fruition. Throughout this entire country, man, you're seeing protests. And some of them are turning into riots and looting. But all across the country right now, just looking at one news source, do you know you have protests in almost at least 20 cities, major cities across America. We have a protest scheduled for tomorrow here in Shreveport downtown. I think it's going to be at 2 o'clock. The whole world really has stood up and took notice of this latest incident of police brutality. Now, we talk about police brutality quite often, and it sounds like we're beating a drum over and over again. But what has happened now is that the chickens have come home to roost for America. We have been seeing videos ever since the invention of these cell phones. We always knew as black people that police brutality is a problem in our communities. And, we try to tell other races, other nationalities and groups of people, and they, by them not really experiencing it firsthand to the level and magnitude that we are experiencing here as black people, it's easily for them to downplay it. Well, again, with these cell phones now, and everybody got a camera, you're starting to see the reality right before your eyes, and there's no way you can deny it. Anybody in their right mind or with half of their brain tied behind their back could tell that that was a murder of a bystander, an innocent civilian. Well, I won't say innocent civilian, but that was a murder of an unarmed civilian who was already subdued. It didn't take nothing for them, once they got the handcuffs on him, to pick him up and put him in the car and take him off. But no, this officer literally kept his knee on this man's neck for what I'm understanding almost 9 minutes. Now let me tell y'all something else, first and foremost. Are y'all aware under the Supreme Court ruling, I got to go back and get the name, I forget, it's Everson something, versus the United States. The Supreme Court of the United States ruled that we, the citizens, when we see the police acting outside of their scope of duty, we have the right to defend ourselves against the police. Believe it or not, that's part of the reason why the Second Amendment was written. The Second Amendment was the right to bear arms, was not written saying that those people who wrote it could keep arms to go hunting or you know what I'm saying, or just target practicing. A long time to be on somebody's neck. Yes, it was 9 minutes he had his knee on that man's neck. But again, the Second Amendment gave you the right to bear the same arms as your police officers, as your military, to protect ourselves as citizens. If we have to form a militia to protect ourselves from conquering powers, whether they be foreign or domestic. Meaning that since the military have M15, M16 machine guns, you are entitled to have AR-15. You are entitled to have the equal or same amount of force that is being perpetrated against you. Now, what we have to realize, I'm not inciting any violence against the police, but I'm tired of the violence from the police against us. So I'm going to give y'all a little game. From now on, instead of standing around with these goddamn cameras, recording these crooked-ass police literally choking a man to death, you have the right to go and defend that man. Somebody should have dropped that camera and run up there and punched that police upside his fucking head. Literally. And you would have had legal grounds to, because he was committing a crime. He had already had this man subdued, y'all. And he sat there on his man's neck, choking him. Can you imagine how much suffering George Floyd went through in those 9 minutes, man? They say you see your life flash before your eyes. His life didn't have to flash before his eyes, because as his breath was leaving his body, all he probably could think about was his family, his children, you know, his life being taken away from him over a period of 9 minutes. That was cruel, inhumane torture and suffering. Now this police officer has been arrested under third-degree murder. The other 3 police officers that stood around, nothing happened to them as of yet. But again, at what point do you put your camera down and literally, if nothing else, go over there and push that police officer off that man's neck? Believe it or not, you have a right to do that, because he was acting outside the scope of the law. No law that's written on the books would justify what that officer did. But you have people sitting around trying to get likes on Facebook or social media fame. You're recording this video, and while then you're watching this man die. I couldn't have did it, y'all. I probably would have been on the ground right next to him, because I sure would have walked up and, if nothing else, pushed that cop off that dude. Told him, look, man, you got him subdued, arrest him, take him to jail. But let me go a little bit deeper. Now you have all these protests throughout the country. And people have a right to be up in arms, to get out and protest and voice their anger, their frustration. But now you see the protests are going past just peaceful protests. People are looting, rioting, tearing up their own shit. They tore down, they burnt the police department. You know, they actually got out for the first time in one of these cases, actually went into the neighborhood where the police officer who committed the crime was, and tried to protest in front of his house. But let me show y'all something. Why is it now that after the fact, these people can find the time to go down and protest Mr. Floyd's tragic murder and riot and loot? And it's not everybody that's out there protesting that's rioting and looting, but those agitators. In a lot of cases, we believe that they're paid agitators facilitating the rioting and looting. When I say that, do you realize that in situations like this, you have organizations that pay to keep up the chaos? They might pay somebody $20 an hour to go out there and throw a brick in the window, hoping that they can get the crowd to follow that mob and herd mentality and follow along with them. But again, let me ask this question, and it's a question that we must ask. How is it that all these people can find the time after the death to go out there 3-4 hours a day and protest and riot and loot? But none of these people, very few of these people, if any, could find that 1 or 2 hours that it takes to go down to your local city council meeting, that it takes to lobby your state legislature beforehand. You see what I'm saying? Beforehand. We should be on our elected officials' asses, because guess what? This case here is not brand new. We know what's going on. But yet, we wait till somebody die and then we show our outrage. That outrage would be better placed from this point on. Every time your city has a city council meeting, we have ours every other Tuesday here in Shreveport. But those chambers should be packed, demanding justice, but most important, demanding reform and holding the police accountable. Love you. In Louisville, it was a white guy that shot those people. Exactly. So you have paid protesters, you have agitators, people who are looking to fan the flames of a situation like this. But again, protesting and marching is good. It brings attention to your issue. But what happens after the protests, after the rioting, after the looting? What happens? People go back home and they forget all about this shit. So instead of waiting for somebody to die or get murdered by the police, why aren't we, every city council meeting, every session of the state legislature, why are we not down there demanding, first and foremost, that these police have drug tests, mandatory drug tests, random mandatory drug tests every month, and we the citizens are allowed to know what's in their system? Notice what happens. The first thing they do is when they murder somebody, they're going to come and do a toxicology report. They're going to tell you, well, such and such, Mr. Floyd had marijuana in his system. He had alcohol in his system. Who gives a fuck? Because 9 times out of 10, these police got steroids in their system. They got antidepressants in their system. Hell, just here in Louisville, in Shreveport, just last year, we had a group of cops get caught for selling steroids. We had one cop get caught for possession of marijuana. So these police are getting just as high as the people who they're policing. But we don't never know what's in their system. That's very important, because if you got a cop that's on steroids, what is the main side effect of steroid use? Violent and aggressive behavior. If you have a police officer that's taking antidepressants, what is the main side effect of antidepressants? Violent or suicidal thoughts. So we as citizens, first and foremost, what we should do is hold our elected officials accountable by demanding that every month, because you got to realize, this sounds far-fetched, but it's not, because again, we the citizens pay the police salary. We are paying them to come out there and whoop our ass and kill us in the middle of the street. Half of them, again, are high off some type of drug. Most of them have mental issues, and I'm going to get to that a little bit later. I did a brief video yesterday. I had another phone that I recorded on and I uploaded, and I alluded to the fact, until we understand why these police are acting out this way, we will never get to the bottom of the problem. Now, I said in my video yesterday that I uploaded, you have to understand where the police are getting this type of training from. And I told you all might not believe this, but do you realize that 90% of your police departments and sheriff departments here in America are receiving training by the Israeli Defense Force? Just look it up. Look it up. The Israeli Defense Force is one of the most brutal and oppressive entities on the planet. All you have to do is just research what they're doing to the Palestinians. Then you will understand what's going on in your neighborhood, because the same tactics that the IDF uses against the Palestinians are the same tactics that they train American police in: suppression and oppression, ultra military type patrol. You got to realize also, your police departments, they're not looking for a few good men. Actually, they're looking for bad apples. They're looking for those. They're purposely hiring and training those people who would be willing to stretch the law, or maybe even citations required. Yet, they're looking for people who are literally willing to go out and to brutalize people. Y'all might think that's crazy, but that's true. That's true. I've known people, even myself. When I was younger, when I was 21, I applied for the Douglas County Sheriff Department up in Omaha, Nebraska. And at that time, I had no record. My education, I had all the qualifications, and I just wanted to do something better for my neighborhood. My assertion requires citations. Ma'am, all you have to do is just look up, go to Google, go to YouTube, and this is not an assertion. This is a fact. All you have to do is just type in IDF training American police, and you will see that the Israeli Defense Force, your sheriff departments, your police departments, send people all the way to Israel to receive training in the same tactics of oppression. This is a fact, ma'am. This is not an assertion. All you have to do is just do the research for yourself. But it's hard for you to do this type of research when you don't know what you're researching. Miss Mila Baby, what is your point? The guy that killed George Floyd has been arrested. Yes, he has been arrested, but what about the 3 cops that stood back as accessories? If me and 3 of my friends would have went out and choked the man to death, and I was the one doing the choking, they sat back and watched it. Don't you know all 4 of us would be facing charges? They would be charged with accessory to murder. These police officers knew what that man was doing was not right. They knew he was committing a crime. They knew that he was overstepping his boundaries. And they did nothing. Again. Ma'am, well, if you don't want to do your research, I told you what to research, ma'am. No, that's you being lazy and wanting to create a confrontational dialogue. Ma'am, I told you what to research. It's up to you now to figure it out for yourself. First of all, ma'am, I'm going to tell you something. If you said something to me and I don't believe you, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and do the research for myself. I can't make you do the research, ma'am. I told you what to look up. If you don't want to look it up, you want me to give you all the specific dates and times, ma'am, that shit's not going to happen because I'm finna get ready to end this video. But the truth is, if you want to know the truth, hell, you got a cell phone in your hand. All you got to do is you can search the truth from around the world. Your police, but people are being protested or just find a way to loot them out. This is the same thing, or is it looting just an excuse to get stuff? It's still about justice. I say something to you will have to receipt to. Ma'am, if you told me something and I thought it was bullshit, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop the conversation right there and I'm going to go do my research. I'm not going to tell you, show me your facts. Because, ma'am, as you see, I'm drinking a cup of coffee. I did this video on the spur of the moment. The fact of the matter is, go to Google, go to YouTube, go to any motherfucking site where you can, quote unquote, research the topic. American police trained by IDF. And it's right there in front of your eyes, man. I don't have time to sit up here and give you point by point, ma'am, when the information is out there for you to research it yourself. Hell, I did. When I heard somebody say it, I researched it my own self. So why do I have to sit up here and interrupt my YouTube channel, go find a means to pull up some information that all you got to do is just drop off this video? You seem to be against what I'm saying or not believing it. So if you're not believing what I'm saying, why aren't you right now going to research what I told you? I gave you the points, the topics, the subject. The truth is, our people in America are being subjugated by these police using the same tactics that the Israeli Defense Force uses on the Palestinians. Another thing that we also got to understand, these police officers that they are hiring, the majority of them are ex-military. People who have went overseas, committed war crimes against these innocent people in the name of our government, talking about bringing democracy to these other countries when we don't have a fucking democracy here in America. They done went overseas, killed these innocent people. Now it's fucking with them in their head. They call it post-traumatic stress. Now it's called a guilty conscience. Keep in mind, back in the Bible, the children of Israel, whenever God sent them out to go to battle, he told them to kill everything that has breath in their body, even the children, even the animals. When the children of Israel, the armies of Israel, came back after the war, those soldiers could not come back inside the city or the camp till they set outside the city for at least a year, so that they could deal with the psychological effects of all that slaughter of innocent people. So now you have these crazy ass cops who are mentally disturbed now because they done went over there and killed and slaughtered all these innocent people overseas. They come back fucked up in the head. They put them on antidepressants, and guess what they do? Throw them right there in our neighborhoods. In most cases, our neighborhoods are already looking like some shit over there in Afghanistan or Iraq or Libya, with all the violence and chaos that's going on already in our neighborhood. Now you throw an itchy cop who's on antidepressants in your neighborhood, and then you wondering why we're getting shot down in the middle of the street. True again, protests get attention to your cause, but what happens when the camera is taken off? What happens if the news media right now stops showing you all these riots today? They stop showing you all these protests today. Guess what will happen? By Thursday, we would forget all about it. This is part of the media's ploy to create chaos and instability. You know what I'm saying? Which hence can be used politically. It can be used against us militarily. It can be used against us in quite a few ways, but the media is helping to fan these tensions. Think about it. How come the media don't show us or don't keep up when an innocent black baby gets killed because the daddy done went out and robbed somebody, and the dude that he robbed come back and does a drive-by, shoots up everybody in the house except the Negro who he was trying to shoot, and 9 times out of 10 there's an innocent baby get killed? How come there's no outrage about that? How come there's no protest in our communities about this type of violence? So the media shows us these things basically to fan the flames of tension. I'm not going to say that they want a race war, but they know that this here is a way to create the climate that's conducive to creating racial animosity and tension against us. So again, there's numerous reasons why I believe that these protests are not really going to do nothing in the bigger picture. Yeah, they're going to get justice for George Floyd, but soon as they come out with a guilty verdict against him, that same day somebody else is going to get killed by the police. So you have to be proactive. And by being proactive, I mean going down to your city council meeting, going to your state legislator, going to your political leaders and tell them, no, this death here, yeah, we want justice for this, but we want to make sure that something like this never happens again. And in order to make sure that it never happens again, you have to go and challenge power before somebody gets killed. Again, something as simple as demanding to know what's in these police officers' urine samples. You know what I'm saying? Because again, half your cops, I'd say 3/4 of your cops around here are on some kind of drug, whether it be antidepressants, steroids, or something as simple as marijuana or alcohol. And this is what's contributed to their violent tendencies, and their training contributes to their violent practices. And again, ma'am, I challenge you. I'm not going to sit up here and go back and forth with you. All you got to do is go look it up, and you will see where our military, the Israeli Defense Force, trains our military personnel who train our military, plus they train the police. Why do you think our police are so heavily armed? Why do you think our police look like paramilitary units? You know what I'm saying? You can't hardly distinguish your police from the National Guard or from the United States military, man. And that's because they get this training. They get this ideology from the Israeli Defense Force, who are the most brutal and oppressive group of police or military entity on the planet. Look at what they're doing to the Palestinians. And don't it seem just like what happened to us as black people? So in order to understand what's going on in your neighborhood, you have to understand what's going on in the world. Do you realize that these people, they can do these things without the fear of reprisal? Because there's a culture in the police department. You didn't see nothing, don't say nothing. Even if you saw something, don't say nothing. Well, what's happening now, again, they are being protected, you know what I'm saying, by their higher ups. Just as the Israeli Defense Force can go out and commit atrocities, shoot 13-year-old kids point blank range in the head, in the chest. And they don't even have to worry about consequences. Notice the tactics that they use here in America. First thing the police do, they get you on the ground. They try to get the handcuffs on you. Now they got you in the chokehold. You're choking to death. The first thing they're going to say is stop resisting. Stop resisting. As long as they can holler stop resisting, that gives them a legal cover in a court of law if something happens to you. If they choke you to death, they can say now that the suspect kept resisting. How the fuck am I resisting when I'm on the ground handcuffed? It's 5 of y'all on me, I am subdued, and one of y'all is choking me. I'm not resisting, I'm trying to breathe. But this is what they do. Notice that. I know they do this in every state. It's not just Louisiana. But they're going to hold you and they're going to say stop resisting. This way, if the camera is recording, that will give them legal cover if they happen to kill you. Oh yeah, they got all kind of little secrets that they use and little sneaky and illegal tactics that they use to get away with these murders. But there's no way this man here can get away with this torture, then murder. Because again, Brother Floyd laid there on the ground with this man's knee in his neck for over 9 minutes, man. And you could hear him getting weaker and weaker as this police officer drained the air and the life out of his body. That's flat out murder, man. So again, I'm not gonna hold this video too long because I can't say too much that you're already not seeing on the television. Only thing I can do is try to give you a different perspective behind what you're seeing and tell you a different way of looking at things and bringing out different facts that you will never hear from your mainstream news media. They ain't gonna tell you that 3/4 of these officers are drug addicts, whether it be steroids, regular street drugs, antidepressants, half of them on painkillers. You see what I'm saying? And you got a bunch of drug addicts with guns running around here like they're invincible. And then most times you see they get away with their crimes, so maybe they are invincible. You know what I'm saying? Also, you got to understand where they're getting their training from, man. They're getting their training from members of the Israeli Defense Force who are well versed at practicing brutal tactics on the Palestinians. Then they ship it over here. Our police departments send liaisons to go over there to learn this shit. They come back and bring it to us. So it's way bigger, man, than just George Floyd, Eric Garner, Michael Brown. Here in Freeport, Louisiana, believe it or not, here in Freeport in just the last 2 years, year and a half, just say 2 years, we've had 5 people to be murdered by the police. But here in Freeport, notice, there was no riots, there was no protests. You know why? Because the media didn't hype it up. A lot of this shit that we're seeing is literally, it's natural outrage, which is sparking the protest. But a lot of the media, a lot of the looting, the rioting and all that, that's media sponsored because they're showing you these images to deliberately get you hyped up, hoping that you'll run out there head first and throw a brick in somebody's store. Yeah. And guess what though? With all that rioting and looting, guess who's gonna make money off of that? The police. Because now everybody that they arrest, they're gonna have to pay a highly inflated bond in order to get out. Remember down there in Ferguson when Michael Brown got murdered, and they was arresting all these people, and they were thinking they were just gonna get simple disturbing the peace charges. They were charging these people with terroristic acts, giving them $100,000 bonds. So the police department, they gonna win all the way around. Yeah, they lost the police substation in Minneapolis, but guess what? Some white man's gonna get a contract from the government, your tax dollars, to rebuild that police station, so that they can continue to go out and do practice their brutal practices of oppression. Until we stop the shit before it happens, we're gonna continue to have to keep marching and protesting after this happens. Find time to go down there and challenge your motherfucking city leaders, your state leaders, before somebody gets murdered, man. Go down there and demand that if a police officer is involved in any kind of officer-involved shooting, that's very suspicious at least, that's suspicious, he don't get time off with pay. He don't get leave with pay. How many of you all can go to work and do something fucked up, and they just say, well, we're going to let you off with pay until we figure it out? Hell no, they're going to fire you. Or they're going to tell you to go home until we figure it out, but you don't get no pay. So you mean to tell me a police officer can go and murder somebody, and while he's waiting for to be either indicted or for a trial, he's still getting paid? You know, I understand that there's civil service rules and all that, but come on, some of these rules need to change. There need to be heavy incentives against these police to make them do the right thing. Because as long as I go and kill somebody, man, 9 times out of 10, my superiors are going to help me beat this charge, and I'm still sitting at home for 3, 4, 5 months, maybe a year, getting paid. Do you think there's going to be an incentive, incentive for them to stop this shit? Nah. Well, hey, y'all know me. I ain't going to keep y'all too long, man. I got to try to get out and make some things happen. But again, I want to let y'all know YouTube is censoring us heavily. They will not let us get monetized. They're unsubscribing some of our subscribers, but in most cases, they're not letting people be notified when we do these videos. So I ask that you all please share these videos, man, and then make sure that you keep hitting the notification button, because again, most people are telling me now that it'd be a day or so before they even realize that I did one of these live videos. So y'all keep supporting us. Also, man, again, we reach out to y'all. We need you all's help to do what we do here at the Real News Behind News, to keep bringing these videos to you. So you know, if y'all can, we put the cash tag up in the description section of this video. Please donate. And really, we need 12 people to donate $2 right now to help us out with something for coming up for tomorrow. Please, if you can do that, please, we would be more than appreciative. And again, we're gonna keep trying to be consistent with these videos. You know, things are happening for us. I think they're gonna approve my business for one of these small disaster loans. I should know something within the next week and a half. So y'all pray for me on that. But again, make sure that you stay subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button on these videos, whether you like the video or you dislike it. You know, hit one of those buttons, because the more people we get to watch these videos, the more YouTube will be inclined to allow, allow our videos to be seen without being censored. So again, make sure that you hit the notification button, and please, again, I'm asking y'all, you know, from the bottom of my heart. I don't beg or nothing like that, but I am asking. We need at least 12 people to donate $2 to our Cash App so we can take care of something very important in the morning. Something I have to take care of for my son who's up there in Ohio, and I got to get a birth certificate and send it up there. He just left. Man, I miss my little man. But yeah, I know you be watching all Dad videos, son. Dad love you, man. And you better call me, little big head dude. But yeah, again, y'all hit the Cash App, man. We need to make at least $25 before. $25 ain't much. I can go out there and cut a yard for it. But right now, it's not that, you know, it's not that easy. So we can get one of y'all to donate 25 or 12 y'all to donate 2. But either way it go, we must hold these people accountable before they start killing us. The killing, you know, somebody's murdered. After somebody's murdered, yeah, You can get attention with your protests. You get plenty more attention, negative attention, rioting and looting and shit like that. But you get more attention, man, by stopping this shit before it even happens. You can find time to go out there and protest. You can find time to go out there and riot and loot. How come you can't find time to go and challenge power? Who are allowing these police to do these things? The time to speak up is before somebody get killed. The time to do something is shut down and clean out your police, your local police department before they kill somebody. Because after they kill somebody, it's too late. Hey, please, y'all make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. And if you can, if God leads you to, make a little a donation, a special donation this Sunday. Take $2 out your tithe and offering money if you're going to church, man. And help us out on this cash out. So y'all see me on another video. Y'all be blessed.